I went from working a 9 to 5 and earning 20 grand a year to hitting 6 figures in the space of 3 years, and I truly believe it came down to 6 habits that helped me get to where I am today. Hey everyone, my name is Mark, and if you're new here, I've worked in finance and banking for 6 years before quitting my job in 2021 and starting my own wedding photography business. On this channel, we talk about personal finance and how to make money online, but today I want to take the conversation in a slightly different direction. So let's start with number 1, bridging the education gap. So the schooling systems around the world are all geared towards telling you to get a good job, get promoted and earn a high salary, which you can save a portion of after taxes and put it into a savings account where interest rates can no longer keep up with inflation. Building wealth in a system like this is mathematically impossible for the average person. You're never taught how to manage your finances, what a mortgage is, the basics of the stock market or passive income streams. You're just taught that if you work hard and save, you'll be able to live a successful life and eventually retire. And while that was true 50 years ago, today it's no longer sustainable. In a system like this, it's easy to just get tunnel vision and miss the many learning opportunities outside of an office space. For example, it took me 4 years to realize that I could turn a hobby into a full-scale business, and around 6 years to find out that I can have other income streams alongside my job in business. While I was working in finance, I took my camera out on the weekends, I did some street photography, and as I gradually learned more and became better, I moved into the wedding space. While I was learning more about photography on YouTube, I was getting recommended Etsy shops and making passive income as a photographer. So I looked into that and started converting my as of then limited design experience into an Etsy shop selling digital assets. The point I'm trying to make is every once in a while you need to stop and look around at what opportunities there are around you. What skills can you pick up using tools at your disposal and how you can monetize those skills? There is always something to learn, and usually the best things come from outside of the education system that you were a part of for so many years. Number 2, fueling one with the other. If you have a business idea or just an impulse to start something, it's tempting to pull the trigger and quit your job without having the proper foundations built yet. There's a ton of advice out there telling you to just escape the grind and follow your passion, everything will be alright, but the reality is a bit harsher than that. Look, I spent 2 years simultaneously working in an office and photographing weddings on the weekend. While the workload was brutal, I used the income from one source to fuel the growth of the other. Now, for some people, this isn't sustainable. Maybe you have a family or a type of job that doesn't allow you to do another project on the side, but figuring out how to juggle both in the beginning, even if you sacrifice the speed of growth for your project a bit, is the better plan in the long run. It's easy to fall into a trap where you think that by not dedicating all your time to your business, you will set yourself back and will never escape the 9 to 5. I almost quit my job in March 2020 because I've had around 7 weddings booked at the time for the summer, and then COVID hit and those weddings were either rescheduled or cancelled. If I had quit my job then, it would have actually set my business back instead of moving it forward, because I wouldn't have had any income for several months. Instead of pulling the trigger, finding a way to leverage one for the other, either in terms of time or resources, is the better game plan. Number 3, investing free work into the future. This was a concept that took me a while to understand, but once I did, it helped me grow exponentially faster. Accepting free work can feel demeaning because you invest so much time and money on developing yourself and your business. But once you start thinking of free work as another means to invest into your future, the idea becomes a bit more appealing. When I started my photography business, I spent a lot of money on gear, on my branding and advertising, but no matter how hard I tried to put my services out there, no one would hire me because I had no experience and no portfolio. And this is applicable to a lot of other businesses. If you have no recommendations, no previous references, it's extremely difficult to land your first clients. So I just said, you know what, free work is better than no work. I'd rather be out there putting my name out with people for free than sit at home and continue bleeding money on ads. And this just sped up the whole process of getting my first clients and had a snowball effect on everything else as well. Not only did I now have a portfolio, but people I did free work for recommended me to other people and my network started to expand. Now, it is important to limit how much free work you take on, and this depends on the industry, the type of business you're in, and what feels like the right time for you to start focusing on paid jobs instead. Number 4, resources out equals resources in. Now, I've known people over the years who always wanted to grow or start a business, but were never willing to invest money, time, or effort into their journey journey. They either didn't invest into adequate assets like a good camera or a high quality microphone, or didn't put enough effort into their work consistently and for an appropriate amount of time because they were too impatient to see the results. It took me 3 years and 3 continents to scale my business to 6 figures. I spent months doing free work or accepting low pay work to continuously improve and boost my portfolio before I eventually started climbing up the ladder and booking higher end clients. And look, I'm still not at a place where I want to be, but I know that more and more hard work will eventually compound and lead to more and more success. Now, the same is not necessarily true with money. Yes, investing into starting or growing your business is a good thing, but just dumping money into it continuously expecting to see a proportional growth sets you up for failure. I remember when I started my photography business, I invested so much into gear that I didn't need, thinking that it would elevate my business and attract more clients because the higher quality the gear, the better the overall quality of my work. And that was not the case at all. Just because I had a fancier camera that could shoot 4K or 8K, it did not mean a single thing to my clients or potential bookings. I could have easily gone with the same gear I always had, maximizing its potential and still grow my business. So you have to be strategic in how much and what you invest in. Number 5, overcoming overthinking. There are a lot of variables around starting a business, like how will you manage your finances, should you get an accountant, how to start an LLC, can I even succeed if I'm not an expert, there's so much competition. And look, I was in the same shoes. I contemplated for a full year before committing. I took all the variables into consideration. I thought I would need to become an expert first, learn everything there is to learn about photography, but all that was just overthinking. If you want to do something, you have to start doing it because no amount of preparation or weeks of planning and thinking can replace actual experience. Getting in there and getting your hands dirty is the best way to learn and pushes you to gradually improve. I wasn't an expert wedding photographer in the beginning, and I'm not one even today, but I made sure to learn and improve as much as I could every single day, week, and month. And I've had failures, ups and downs, and I continue to have them today. I didn't manage my finances well. I had to hire an accountant halfway down the line to fix all the mistakes I made, and that's okay. Now, don't get me wrong, a certain amount of preparation is definitely good, but there is a certain point when it just starts becoming distracting noise and will prevent you from getting started. You won't figure out everything in the beginning, but you can learn and grow as you go along. Number 6, embracing volatility. Now, in all honesty, throughout these 3 years, I've thought about returning to a 9-to-5 quite frequently. The stable pay at the end of each month, the security, all the benefits like health insurance and days off. I'm not the type of guy to say that a job is bad or that these benefits are belittling. They're actually really good. And compared to a business, it's a much more comforting environment to be in. Running a business is stressful. You never know if the next month is going to be your best, your worst, or somewhere in between. I've had months where me and my wife went with no bookings at all. Then we've had months where we couldn't keep up with the work, but there is always this thought in your mind that what if this month was the last good month? Or this year will be the last good year? The volatility is a scary part, and I think embracing and trying to overcome it is one of the most challenging parts of running a business. But eventually you just have to go with the flow. Whatever happens, happens. Worst case scenario, you just go with a side hustle or try and make money from somewhere else. And embracing that volatility is one of the key things that helped us grow our business, because if we had quit because of it, we wouldn't have moved from Budapest to Dubai or taken part in the amazing weddings that we did over the past year. Volatility is part of the game, and the sooner you embrace it, the more free and driven you are going to become. Alright, so these were the 6 habits I wanted to talk to you about. Hope you found this video useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. It would really help me out. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.